Integrating technology into your classroom by Kalo Haslam.
Ozobot Spiderweb. It is an integration of math and science and the Ozobots, so technology, coding, and this is how it works. So first thing you need is a large piece of white paper, or as I have here, poster board. You need a ruler, you need a protractor, you need green, blue, red, and black markers. Use Ozobot markers or other markers of your choosing. I normally have a large meter stick as well, and because the papers are larger than the regular rulers. You need a code sheet for the Ozobots. You need an Ozobot. You can either use the Ozobot bit, Ozobot bit, or you can use the Ozobot Evo. Either one works. And then my creation off to tinker.com is Ozospider, and it sits on top of your Ozobot and it acts as a character when walking around on your spiderweb. So, part one, you need to create your spiderweb template using a pencil. First thing you need to do is find your center point. So it doesn't matter, you do this with your students, teach them how to find the center point, and then you find the center point and then have them find the center point. Let them do the math and see if they can figure it out first, and then you check their answers to see if they got it correct or not. So the center point of this is, we have 71 centimeters long ways. And we have 56 centimeter short ways. So this is where the math comes in. Do the math with your students. (28 centimeters for our width, our short ways. So you're going to have them then measure it at 28. You're going to put a dot. You're then going to do 71. For long ways. So we have integrated math twice and showed them how dividing in half to find answers in order to solve a problem. So we are now going to find our next set. Let's go this way. So this one here, we're looking for 35.5. So we have, there's 40, 30, 35, 35 and a half. Okay, so now we have 35 and a half line. We're going to still find our 28 line that matches up with that one. 28. And there would be our intersection and our center point of our erase all straight marks. Now what we need to do is we need to divide our paper into 4 equal parts. So we're going to use the center point. So this way it was 28. So we're going to find 28 2 more times. One to the left of it, and one to the right of it. And then we are going to connect dots. It doesn't matter if this is absolutely perfect. It's close enough to where you use markers so the line's going to be thicker, but that should divide our paper in half. We're then going to find our 35.5 two more times, same thing. And we are going to connect dots. It should go through all 3 points, or really close to all 3 points. You are setting up your spider web, your symmetrical orb spider web. Before this, we go when we talk about spider webs, orb spider webs, types of spider webs. We do a spider web scavenger hunt. We look for spider webs because then you know, and you're talking and bringing the science aspect into it versus just being lines on a paper, and you're actually talking about spiders. Now, depending on what grade level you're doing this with, I do this with my 4th grade. They have either gone over protractors and how to measure angles or not. So we talked about acute, obtuse angles, right angles, and they're going to measure 45 degrees off these center lines. So 45 degrees, they're going to put this at the center point, they're going to put this along the lines, and they're going to find 45 degrees. On both sides of it. Main part to your spider web. You have divided it into 8 equal parts, all by using lines, all by measuring, no guessing. So what you're going to do now from here is you are going to measure out and create your connecting lines. For this one, we're going to start at 0, and we're still using centimeters. We're going to do 5, 10, 15, and 20. So I'm going to start at 0. I'm going to put a dot at 5 on the line. I'm going to put a dot at 10. I'm going to put a dot at 15. I'm going to put a dot at 20. You're going to do this all the way around the poster. Alright, we have all of our dots now. Now we're going to connect dots. Alright, so that is one of our spider web dots. Alright, so our spider web's done now. At this point, when you do the black line, students need to be familiar with the Ozobots. If they're not familiar with the Ozobots, then I normally give them some tasks to complete with the Ozobots. I do mine at the start of the activity before we even start with the Ozobot spider web, so they know what they're eventually going to be putting on the poster and they know what it should look like and how it works. What we're doing now is we're going to use black marker. So, you can do all the radiating lines from the center all black. You can change it up however you want to. You don't want them going all the way in because you're going to put a U-turn code at the end of each one, so the Ozobot goes to the end and turns around and then comes back. This is when you test out the Ozobots. If you put the Ozobot, put it on the line, it should follow the line. There's the Ozobot bit. And the Ozobot Evo. Now, when you put my Tinker cat spider on it, it now looks like there's a spider walking around on the spider web, which is how we record these. But it's no fun right now because there are no codes on it. So let's take the Ozobots off and let's add our codes. Alright, so I have my, so for this part you need to give all the groups Ozobot code sheets. I always have my students map out what codes they're going to put where so they know there's a variety of them. So I'm going to map out some of them. So they can use anyone from the, I give them the option, any from the speed section, any from the direction section, any from the cool moves, and I let them use the pause 30 seconds if they want to. I don't do the counters, I don't do in exits, and I don't do the timer on or timer off because we're not using those for this activity. So real quickly, I'm going to map out what I'm going to put where. Alright, I do not have them put codes on the center because it's too short and sometimes they'll get confused after getting turned. So normally I'll have them just draw the black lines on the center as well. So now they should have 3 codes, or mapped out 3 codes. So 3 on each of the 8 sections. 1 for each one of the lines. So now we'll start with the black lines and the codes. Now we need to do our U-turns that are at the end of each one of the lines. And the U-turn code we're going to... Now your spiderweb is complete.
Now your spiderweb is complete, you have a real diverse activity where students learned how to measure linear distance, how to measure angles, how to use coding. They got to use Ozobots, and they also got to learn about spiders, all wrapped up into one activity.